Welcome to Aman Jaiswal's YouTube channel. Today I will be telling you about several important features on the camera and where you can find them in the Nikon Z7ii. Let's start with the viewfinder. This is on top center of the camera. When you place your eye to the viewfinder, to see through it, you will see only the image that will be captured by the camera. This helps you to compose the photograph. The viewfinder has an eye sensor. When you put your eye near the viewfinder, this sensor switches off the display in the screen and switches it on in the viewfinder. Similarly, when we remove our eye from the viewfinder, it switches off the display in the viewfinder and switches it on in the screen. The viewfinder can be used for menu features and the playback features if required. All these are shown on the sides on the viewfinder. We have one more option to switch between the viewfinder and the screen. You will find a monitor mode button on this side. When you press this, you can toggle between the different modes and view between the viewfinder and the monitor. Sometimes you may not have a perfect 6x6 vision, and when you look through the viewfinder, the image may not show you as the focused image. This is not because the camera is not focused, but your eye does not have a 6x6 power. To focus the viewfinder, you will see a round dial on the right side of the viewfinder. You just have to pull it out and rotate the dial to get the image in focus. After adjusting it, push the control back so that you don't change it by mistake. Please note, this is not the camera focusing on the image, it is just the viewfinder that is becoming adjusted to help your eye focus. Now let us look at the dial on the left next to the viewfinder. This is a very important dial. Here you can change the settings of the camera with different modes of photography from auto to manual, or change it to aperture or shutter modes. Choose the one that you need. Now let's look at the right side of the viewfinder. Here we have the on-off button. This on-off button also has a shutter release button inside it. Next to this on-off button, we have this record button which has a red color on it. This button is used when we want to make a video. Also, here we see an ISO button. This is used when you want to adjust the ISO settings of the sensor. The other button here which we have is the metering button. We can use this to enhance or reduce the exposure of the image. The Nikon Z7ii has two more dials in this area. One is the main command dial and the other is the sub command dial. Both of these can be used for a variety of functions, but by default they are set to adjust the aperture using the sub command dial and the shutter speed using the main command dial. Now let's look at the back side of the camera. Here the main thing that you see is the screen or the monitor. This shows you the image through the lens, and you can use this to compose your photographs or videos. On the top left side of the screen, you will see a play button. This button allows you to play back the photographs and videographs that you have taken and are stored in the chip of the camera. Next to this is the delete button. So if you want to delete some photographs and videos which you don't like from the camera, you can use this button. On the right side of the monitor near the top, you will see the display button. This button allows you to switch between the still and the video modes. In each mode, there are different functions and parameters to be used. Depending on the mode you are in, each time you press the display button, the screen will show you different functions and parameters. You can select and use these as required. Next to the display button, we have the autofocus on button. This helps us to focus the camera. If you are taking the photograph and want the subject to be automatically focused, you can press the AF button on the camera and it will automatically focus the image in your frame. Below the autofocus on button, we have a sub selector. We can use this as a joystick to select the focus point or press the center of the sub selector to lock focus and exposure. Below this sub selector, we have an I button. This button is used to access the frequently used settings. When we press the I button, these settings will get displayed on the screen. Below this, we have a multi-selector which can be used to do many things. For example, it can move the cursor up or down, cancel and return to the previous menu, select the item and display a sub-menu, select the highlighted item. So this selector can be not only used to move from various menus, but you can also select and move your photographs. Just below this button, we have the menu button. When we press the menu button, we can see different menus. These are all these various menus that are available on the camera for which we can do different settings. For example, we have the playback menu, the photo shoot menu, the movie shooting menu, setup menu, customize settings. Just under the menu button, we have the release or the self timer mode button. This is used to decide what happens when the shutter is released. This is relevant only for still photographs. There are 3 modes that we can select for this option. Next to these buttons are the zoom in and zoom out buttons. These help you to zoom in or zoom out your photographs to see them more clearly. Now the Nikon Z7ii is a great camera and it has a lot of functions and features. It can help you take great photographs if you learn these features and functions. I really enjoy using this camera. If you like my video, please like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon so that when I upload my next video, you can get notified, and please do not forget to comment.